Welcome to this classic edition of the Northeast Texas Game of the Week, featuring football, baseball, and basketball games of the high schools of Lamar County. We are digging back into our library spanning over 3 decades of high school sports to bring you some of the most exciting games of the past. We will be right back with this week's game.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
He makes me lie down in green pastures.
He leads me beside still water.
He restores my soul.
He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake.
Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death,
I will fear no evil, for you are with me.
Your rod and your staff, they comfort me.
You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies.
You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life.
And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Good evening and welcome into the Northeast Texas Game of the Week. It has been a while since the basketball season has been completed, and we have a somewhat belated start, at least here on Channel 27, to our coverage of high school baseball in 1991. I'm Tom Allen, along with Ron Billman, who joined me for the playoffs last year, and he will be here at least for most of the games this year as we cover both Paris and North Lamar. We are at Hub Hollis Field tonight for a District 15 4A encounter between Paris and Mount Pleasant, and I guess, Ron, a lot of people anticipated that this might be the game before the district season even started. Mount Pleasant was at 15-2, ranked in the top 10 in the state. Paris was playing pretty well at 11-4 and had actually beaten Mount Pleasant during the Mount Pleasant tournament before district started. But the wheels have sort of come off for both of the preseason favorites in district. Paris dropped a game to Texas High. The Tigers are now in first place in 15-4A. And Mount Pleasant, surprisingly, has lost 3 in a row in district.
Mount Pleasant is ready for this game. With the fact that Paris beaten them earlier, it's going to be a hard game for Paris to stay up with the attitude Mount Pleasant has. They'd like to beat Paris.
Mount Pleasant, obviously a very dangerous team in this situation, having nothing to lose in the first half of district play. At 0-3, they're pretty well out of the first half district race, but they'd like to start building now toward the second half. Let's check the starting lineups for you very quickly. For Paris, defensively around the infield, Trey Womack at first, check that. Jason Stevens at first base, Joe Paul Brazil at second, Kevin Parker at short, Brian Rainey at third. In the outfield, Jason Clark in left, Kurt Lowry in center, Michael Harris in right. And the battery tonight, Chuck Armstrong is pitching for the Wildcats, Alan Billman doing the catching. Paris coming into this game 13-5 on the year, 2-1 in district play, and right now tied for second place with North Lamar and Liberty Ilo. Texas High is in first place by itself. The Tigers at 3-0, and sharing the cellar right now, Mount Pleasant and Sulphur Springs both at 0-3. Paris coming in, coached by Benton Rainey, assisted by Johnny Holloman, Steve Coker, and Jim Chadwick. Mount Pleasant tonight leading off and playing center field is Chris Woodson. Batting second, playing third base, Kevin McDaniel. Batting third, the shortstop, Trip McKay. Batting fourth, the second baseman, Sean Moulton. Batting fifth, the pitcher, Chet Zachary. Batting seventh, Stuart Luck, the catcher. The designated hitter, Chris Taylor, is batting seventh, batting for Trey Womack. Batting eighth is Adrian Walton, the left fielder. And batting ninth is Keith McNeil, the right fielder. And we are just about ready to get this one underway as Chuck Armstrong has finished his warm-up tosses. The home plate umpire takes his position behind the plate. Chris Woodson stepping in from the left side, and welcome into high school baseball 1991 on the X channel, Channel 27 on TCA Cable in Paris. Tom Allen, Ron Billman, and lots of high school action coming your way. And Ron, let's hope Mount Pleasant doesn't realize how good they are until maybe Tuesday.
That's right. Let's get them tonight.
Armstrong, the right-hander, leading a core of experienced Paris pitchers, and his fastball to start the game is low, ball one. The one thing Benton Rainey has going for him this year, Ron, is an experienced pitching staff with Chuck Armstrong, and of course he's got Brian Rainey coming up, who's done an extremely good job. In fact, he's got 3 good pitchers on the staff this year.
That's right. With Clint House and Chuck, they could go a long way.
The one thing they can't do is what they did against Texas High and left 12 men on base and lost a one-run ball game. That's just right. Not the way you have to play baseball. 1-0 pitch on the way, and there's a little blooper over the third baseman's head. Nice running catch by the third baseman, Brian Rainey.
Playing up to the bunt, he got back quick to get that running catch. Good play.
A little soft liner that looked like it might get over Rainey's glove, and Parker would not have had a chance at first base, but instead Rainey makes a nice stab, and Woodson is out. One away, and that will bring the third baseman, Kevin McDaniel, to the plate, following a nice defensive play by Brian Rainey, and we'll put a star by that one. Right-hander Armstrong, a breaking pitch called strike. One thing we've learned in high school, Ron, is if you watch high school baseball, you got a good curveball. You can fool a lot of people a lot of the time.
That's the toughest thing for high school players, hit that curveball.
There's the fastball off the outside corner, and the count levels now at 1-1 strike on the Mount Pleasant third baseman, Kevin McDaniel. 1 out, nobody on, top of the first, Paris and Mount Pleasant. Wildcat win will keep them in at least a tie for second place. There's a fastball up around the letters that McDaniel could not catch up with, and Armstrong is now up in the count, 1-2 strikes. Mount Pleasant white uniforms, black numerals, the gold helmets trimmed in black. As Armstrong delivers 1-2, and that one is shot on the ground by the third baseman. Parker knocks it down, but will not have a play at first base. A sharply hit ground ball that is ruled an infield single as it gets by Brian Rainey, but Parker with a nice play to knock it down and keep it from going into the outfield.
Yeah, as deep as the outfield was playing, Kevin could have possibly got to second on that ball. It was a good play by Kevin to keep it in the infield.
1 down, 1 on, and stepping in from the left side is Trip McKay. McKay has been one of the leading hitters in this part of the state during the early part of the season.
Their second left-handed batter in the top 3 position.
We were talking before the game, and you told me, and I had not seen Paris play yet this year, that there is nobody that bats from the left side for the Wildcats. Billman sets the target low and off the outside corner to the left-handed batting McKay. Armstrong checks the runner at first, goes that way.
Kevin has good speed. He'll be a base-stealing threat.
Shot of McDaniel at first base as Armstrong checks the runner, and he comes to the plate. Breaking pitch off the inside edge. Mount Pleasant has lost a couple of extra inning games here in the first half of district. 1 to Liberty Ilo. As they have gone 0-3 in the early going, there's a chop foul out of play, and the count levels at 1-1 strike as McKay chased one low and outside of the strike zone. Jason Stevens holding the runner on at first.
He's not getting a very big lead off of base, so he must be just kind of getting the feel of the game here.
Not quite to the cut of the infield grass. There's a hit and run is on the line to Rainey, and they've got him doubled off. Double play. The inning's over. Kevin McDaniel was off on the pitch. Another soft liner that this time Rainey had no trouble handling, and McDaniel was dead as a duck at second base as he was off on the pitch. So the double play erases the only base runner of the inning for Mount Pleasant here on the top of the first. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Back with the Paris half of the first inning right after this.
Giving a gift can change the world. The gift of emergency shelter changes communities. The signature blue Samaritan's Purse plastic is often seen after natural disasters, patching roofs or building transitional shelters. This heavy-duty plastic can keep a family safe from the weather until they have an opportunity to rebuild. This is how giving emergency shelter can change lives in Jesus' name. Give a shelter. Help change the world.
We're back for the bottom half of the first inning. Paris and Mount Pleasant, no score in the ball game. Mount Pleasant with a single in the top of the inning, but Kevin McDaniel erased on the double play. If you were scoring that double play, 5 to 3. 5 unassisted on the little popper. And then McDaniel, who is running on the play, throwing out from 5 to 3 for the third out of the inning. Joe Paul Brazil, the Paris second baseman, will lead things off here in the bottom of the first. He'll be followed by Kurt Lowry and Kevin Parker. Cats finally broke out of it on Friday night, or Tuesday night, scored some runs.
Well, I don't know if this was the batting order they had Tuesday night. I missed it, but this is a switch. Lowry had been leading off, so I don't know if Joe Paul they found a better position for him at the leadoff position here.
Paris in the home gray uniform pants, navy blue tops, gray trim, and the navy helmet. And the first pitch on the way and low from Zachary. Ball 1. Now, if you followed the Mount Pleasant Paris High football rivalry for these many years, you'll recognize a lot of the players out there on the Mount Pleasant baseball team. Zachary, one of them. The line and the 1-0 pitch, and there's a fastball that gets by the catcher, and a long look, and I think he called that a strike.
Yeah.
It took him a while to figure out what he was going to call, but when he did, he waved that finger, and it's 1-1 on Joe Paul Brazil.
Ball looked like it has a lot of movement on it. So.
Zachary throws very hard, if his first 2 pitches are any indication. Lined in the 1-1 pitch, and that does get by the catcher. Kicks off his shin guard out of play, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, you can throw hard, but control is a big part of that throwing hard.
Makes a tough job on the catcher.
Home plate umpire checks the baseball, says let's play, and Joe Paul Brazil up in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Hidden from the right side against the right-handed throwing Zachary, Kurt Lowry on deck. 1-2 pitch, there's a strike at the knee.
Good pitch.
And the count is even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. If you can throw them there all night, you're going to be tough to beat.
That's right. Yeah, I don't think I've seen one above the knee, though, out of 4 pitches.
There's another breaking pitch in the dirt. Ball 3, and the count goes full. The problem for Zachary right now is that if this pattern continues, he's going to throw an awful lot of pitches before the night's over with.
3-2 to the first batter.
Good crowd on hand for tonight's game. There's a pitch lined into right field in front of the right fielder. Single for Joe Paul Brazil. Keith McNeil fields it on 1 bounce and gets it back in, but a well-hit ball going the opposite way. Joe Paul Brazil, and Paris has its first base runner of the night. Kurt Lowry at the plate, and pure speed on the base paths and at the plate right now. Not totally out of the realm of possibility that he'll lay one down.
That's right. He's an excellent bunter and beats out a lot of them.
And when you've got a guy that's throwing a lot of fastballs, sometimes a bunt is a great weapon to use. Armstrong checks Brazil at first and goes that way. Joe Paul back in on his belly. Johnny Holloman in the first base coaching box for the Paris Wildcats. Head coach Benton Rainey at third. First pitch to Lowry in the dirt and away from the catcher.
He might go to third.
And he may go to third on this. He holds up at second base. So on the, I guess, wild pitch.
It bounced in front of the plate. So
we'll score at a wild pitch from here. That sends Joe Paul Brazil down to second. And Kurt Lowry, who's up in the count, 1 ball and no strikes, had a chance to talk with some Mount Pleasant people before the game tonight. They're still trying to figure out what's going wrong with the baseball team over there.
Well, a lot of disappointment. They're a baseball town.
1-0 pitch. There's a breaking ball by the catcher up against the screen in front of us, and Brazil is going to hold at third base. And that looked like a hard breaking pitch that got away.
He's having a little control difficulties.
And it's 2-0 on Lowry. Henry Garza is talking to his catcher, but I'm not real sure you can put all the blame on your catcher right now. The pitcher is throwing extremely hard, and he's leaving it short.
Yes.
He's not throwing that full 66 feet or whatever.
They're short hopping and then bouncing off the catcher. It's just.
I think Henry's trying to encourage him to get his body in front of those things instead of trying to wave him down with the glove.
Yeah.
I'm a catcher. I'm going to say, you do it.
That's right.
2-0 the count to Lowry. 2 consecutive wild pitches. There's a strike at the knees.
But that was a low one. He's not bringing it up any.
Now, I heard somebody directly behind us think that might have been a little bit too low, but
I think the pitcher ought to get the low strike anyway. That helps out.
2-1 delivery to Lowry. There's a pitch just off the outside corner. Boy, that looked pretty good.
Yeah. That's kind of
strike 2.
Yeah, I think so did the batter.
Well, 3-1 to Lowry, and I think he got one there. Wildcats threatening with Joe Paul Brazil, the leadoff batter, at third base. Delivery, and that's outside, ball 4. Well, Chet Zachary is now pitching in all sorts of trouble. Runners at the corners, nobody out, and Kevin Parker at the plate.
Kevin has just been excellent at the plate from what I've seen and heard.
A single, a couple of wild pitches or passed balls, depending on who's scoring this, but we're going to give the catcher the benefit of the doubt for at least this inning. And Chet Zachary has called Henry Garza out, and he wants to talk to somebody, and they may have
some rosin, maybe.
They're going to get a rosin bag out there, I believe. Zachary evidently feels like he can't get a really good grip on the baseball, needs a rosin bag. He will take it with him to the mound now. With runners at the corners, nobody out, Kevin Parker at the plate. Bottom of the first inning, no score, Mount Pleasant and Paris. One thing we noted last year, for the most part, you give Clint House or Chuck Armstrong a lead and they get real tough in a hurry.
They relax and pitch smart. And we'll probably see a steal here pretty quick.
Zachary checks the runner, and there's Parker, a high fly ball to right field, and McNeil is under it for the out.
Uh-oh.
And the runner tags and comes in. The catcher lost the ball on the throw, and they get the runner at second base. Well, they got the double play the hard way. Kevin Parker flies out on the first pitch to right field, and Keith McNeil. That was the first out of the inning. Brazil scores on the sacrifice fly, 1-0 Paris, and then Lowry is thrown out, catcher to short, trying to go to second base on the throw to the plate. So
I think if the catcher could have handled that ball, we might have had some trouble there.
That's an unusual double play.
That's right.
But it does result in a run and brings Jason Stevens to the plate with the bases clear. A run in and 2 out. And there's a shot to Zachary, who says, look what I found, and tosses Stevens out very quickly to end the inning. 1-3 for the final out. But the Cats pick up a run on 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base, and our score at the end of 1 complete. Paris 1, Mount Pleasant 0.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at casaforchildren.org.
Golden oldie in the background, and athletic director Mike Long, and as our director in the bus said, the Spit and Whittle Club over there on the first base line as we go to the top of the second inning with Paris leading Mount Pleasant 1-0. Sean Moulton will lead off for the Tigers, followed by Chet Zachary and Stuart Luck. Moulton, the Tiger second baseman. Paris again getting a run on a base hit, a couple of wild pitches. Kurt Lowry walked. The sacrifice fly by Kevin Parker plates the run, and then Brazil was tossed out trying to go from first to second on the throw to the plate. And the first pitch to Moulton is off the outside corner. That's ball one. Boy, they got a lot of left-handed hitters in this lineup.
They raise left-handed batters in Mount Pleasant.
To find out what's in the water over there. There's a breaking pitch on the outside corner, called strike. Well, one thing we've learned about our home plate umpire tonight, that strike call is a little slow. You got to wait on it. The 1-1 pitch tap foul outside the first baseline. Henry Garza doesn't get a chance to field it.
I wonder if these boys have been trained about left-handed. He looked like he took more of a chop than a swing at that.
And you certainly have to believe with their first 4 batters, 3 of the 4. You normally don't find that on a high school baseball team.
Yeah, that's right.
The wind and the 1-2 pitch low. Count leveled at 2-2. Armstrong looking for his first strikeout tonight. Tigers scratched for a single in the top of the first. Kevin McDaniel erased on an inning-ending double play. 2-2 delivery, breaking pitch, tap foul at the plate. There's that hook on the outside corner. Umpire will take a look at the baseball. Yeah, it looks okay. No significant bruise on that one.
Our green paint off the concrete.
Lane Park on our first base camera tonight. Lightning Dan Vanderberg behind the plate. Camera 1, and that pitch gets away from Alan Billman all the way to the screen, and the count fills at 3 balls and 2 strikes on the Mount Pleasant leadoff batter, Sean Moulton, here in the second.
Well, I hope they don't have the same results with the 3-2 that we did, so let's get it out.
Moulton in from the left side against the right-handed throwing Armstrong. The wind and the delivery, and that one is chopped foul outside the first baseline, and first base coach doesn't have a great set of hands. I think that's Randy Ballard down there from Mount Pleasant. Henry Garza's over at third base. Ballard watched that one skip right between his legs.
Umpire made a good pickup, though. He kind of cut it off there.
Gorgeous night for baseball. Just beautiful. Little bit of a nip in the air, but you can certainly tell it's springtime. There's a breaking pitch cued foul off the handle of the bat. Now Armstrong has been throwing him some good stuff, and he's spoiled about 3 pitches that would have been outs to somebody else.
This is the 4th batter?
That's the 4th batter.
He doesn't appear to. He's probably got lots of power. He just thought taking an easy swing.
The wind and the 3-2 pitch on the outside corner, called strike 3. And Moulton is gone for the first out of the inning. Sean tried to sell ball 4 as he trotted down toward first base, but no hesitation from the home plate umpire when he punched his ticket that time.
He let him know it was 3rd strike. It was a good pitch.
Pitcher Chet Zachary now will step in from the right side. Pitched in some tough luck in the first inning as Paris scratched for a run. Swing and a miss by Zachary on the breaking pitch. No balls and 1 strike on the Mount Pleasant hurler. Armstrong delivers, and that one swung through for strike 2. I'll tell you what, Mount Pleasant may be 0-3, but they brought a pass full of folks over here.
They sure did. That's a good crowd.
Paris, the reserved seating along the fence was going up at about 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah.
There are lots of folks here. That breaking pitch off the outside corner is Armstrong wastes one, and Zachary doesn't go after it.
Friday night games gets good crowds out for people.
There's a big breaking pitch that stays high in Zachary's eyes, and the count levels at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, I would imagine Tuesday's afternoon ball game should draw a pretty good crowd too. There's a fastball that stays high, and the count goes full on Zachary at 3-2. So Armstrong now has worked full counts to the first two batters he's faced here in the second.
If Paris and North Lamar are still tied for second or whatever, that'd be a good ball game.
There's a fly ball into center field. Lowry right there goes to one knee to make the catch. And Zachary is retired for the second out of the inning. That's why Kurt Lowry's in center field. He can chase everything down.
There's good speed in that outfield. They'll get their glove on it unless it's a line drive.
Lowry was playing him shaded a little bit to left and had to go about 10-15 yards toward the right field side to pick up that fly ball. There's a curveball strike to Stuart Luck, the catcher, third batter of the inning for Mount Pleasant. And down in the count, no balls and one strike. There's a line shot right at the second baseman. Inning over. Joe Paul Brazil had no trouble snagging that. And the Tigers are gone in order for the second inning in a row. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We go to the bottom of the second with our score. Paris 1, Mount Pleasant nothing. Bottom of the second inning. Paris leads this one 1-0, and Chuck Armstrong, the pitcher, will lead off, followed by Brian Rainey and designated hitter Todd Wells. And there's a look at the outfield fence where folks have a tendency on spring afternoons to set up the barbecue grill and have a little lunch or dinner out there while they watch the ball game.
I didn't know they could get in there this year. I thought they put a fence up out there.
Are you kidding? They did, but they got in anyway. Can't take away a great tradition like that. First pitch to Armstrong, line to the second baseman, and he goes down to around his knees and makes the catch. One out. That was well hit. Outside of the base hit by Brazil. That was the best hit baseball of the night so far for Paris. Armstrong lines out to Sean Moulton at second base.
I think they need to be first hitting this pitcher. I think that'll work. I like first hitting batters.
Brian Rainey, who had an outstanding defensive play in the top of the first, steps in from the right side, and he is first ball hitting and shoots one foul down the first base line and up against the fence.
Maybe they've seen something to go after him quick. Don't give him time to work on you.
No balls, one strike to Brian Rainey. Todd Wells on deck. Just joined us. Cats lead this one 1-0. The delivery swung on and missed as Rainey chased a breaking pitch in the dirt. And the count is 0-2. Problem is you get real aggressive. Then you need a sandwich to get some of those.
He's going to see that pitch again right here probably.
And time called at the plate. Zachary maybe takes a little bit too much time, and now the catcher, Stuart Luck, wants to go out and talk to his pitcher. And while they're doing that, I'm going to slip into my jacket here. A little airish tonight, but still a good night for baseball. We were talking about that before the game. It seems last year all we did was rain games. You know,
lots of plastic.
No kidding. They played in drizzle most of last year.
Yeah, that's right.
So I can tell you right now that this is a welcome change as we open the 1991 season on Channel 27. 0-2 pitch to Brian Rainey. That one a fastball that never got to the plate.
About 50 feet on that one.
Count 1-2 on Brian Rainey. Nobody on, one out here in the bottom of the second. Paris trying to maintain at least a share of second place in the first half of the District 15 4A race. Rainey squares the bunt, pulls it back, slashes at it, strike three, and he's out of there for the second out of the inning. Todd Wells will step in now from the right side as Brian Rainey a little unhappy with the strategy that did not work that time. Showed bunt, then tried to chop. A single anywhere and didn't get any of the ball. First pitch to Wells, a breaking pitch on the inside corner, strike one. Zachary seems to have settled down a bit.
He has. Almost all breaking pitches, though. Haven't
where he was almost all fastballs in the first inning.
Yeah.
There's that fastball, and that's off the outside corner. Count even now at 1 ball and 1 strike. If Todd Wells can keep it alive, Michael Harris on deck. There's Johnny Holloman. A little lonely down there at first base right now. Breaking pitch, and that one stays inside. Count goes to 2-1. Got to wait with this guy behind the plate. You don't know whether that's a strike or not.
I thought maybe that was a strike. They really didn't break like the other pitchers were broke.
The right-hander wheels and pitches outside 3-1. So the designated hitter now, Todd Wells, should be getting something he can handle right now.
He's looking for a fastball right there. You can just feel it. Something he can drive to that big gap. They're playing him way around to the right side.
Oh, there is a hole between the center fielder and the left fielder now that you could drive the 7th Armored Division through. There's a foul ball back against the screen, and it goes to 3-2. I mean, if he hit it to the fence and had any speed at all, he could run all day.
Yeah, there's just nobody out there.
The line and the 3-2 pitch, and he tried to hold up.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was fouled off his bat, but it got away from the catcher off the top of his glove.
Catcher was a little slow coming after the ball, but dugout got on him in a hurry there.
Stuart Luck, a little lax in getting back for the ball, but quite honestly, I thought that thing might have popped off his glove. I mean, popped off the top of his bat. Second walk of the night given up by Zachary. And that will bring Michael Harris to the plate. A runner on and 2 out here in the bottom of the second. Armstrong works to the bottom of the batting order. Harris and then catcher Alan Billman. Allen is ready to go out and catch. He's not really sure he's going to get to the plate right now.
He's pitching. The pitcher's got control right now. Uh-oh.
There's a pitch inside. Harris tells Wells down at first base to hold on, and the count goes out to 1 ball and no strikes. Zachary has not worked real well with men on base. Harris sort of ran themselves out of an inning in the first. A pitch to Harris, slacked foul and over the media bus, I think.
I heard a thud.
Something back there.
It didn't crash like glass.
We pulled the media bus up a little bit further than that. No, we didn't leave the tail of the bus sticking out. Might have hit Channel 56's car from Mount Pleasant. That's who it probably hit. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. It caught something solid, and the insurance adjuster is trotting back there now to assess the damage. 1 ball, 1 strike, and that almost
I don't know how he got out of the way.
Performed an appendectomy on the wrong side for Michael Harris. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike on Michael Harris. Wildcat right fielder. Todd Wells down at first base with 2 men out here in the bottom of the second. Harris squares, shows bunt. Armstrong steps off the rubber, and Harris steps out of the batter's box. Check that Zachary off the rubber.
I think they call that stance a slug bunt stance or something. I heard them call it something the other night. They kind of swing away from that stance.
Tries to chop it somewhere. Harris squares again, pulls the bat back, swings at it out in front of the plate. Catcher's going to second base, and in time for the force out, and now Did they call it foul ball? They certainly did. Johnny Holloman. Henry Garza wants an explanation from the home plate umpire. It satisfies him. Harris must have chopped it off home plate. So it's a foul ball and nothing more. And they count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. They have, people from Mount Pleasant have said that Stuart Luck, a little inexperienced at catcher, and going to second base on a chopper like that is a sign of it. I think you'd go to first base for the easy out. Instead of second for the force. 2-2, the count on Michael Harris. He squares again. And we'll pull it back and chop it down the third base line, and that is foul. And the count holds at 2-2. Benton Rainey hoping that he can just get Harris to place the ball somewhere and then perhaps outrun the throw.
He is a fast runner. Not quite the speed of Lowry or Brazil, but he can move down that line.
Bottom of the second, Harris the 8th man in the order. Two and two the count as Chet Zachary checks the runner at first base, Todd Wells, and once again Harris squares. Here's the pitch, chops it past the pitcher by the third baseman, shortstop, quick throw is not in time, and everybody is safe. Whew. Well, that was a bang-bang play at first base. But Michael Harris beats it out for the infield single, got by the pitcher, past the third baseman. The shortstop, Trip McKay, made a nice play on the ball and just missed catching Harris at first base. So now runners at first and second scored an infield single for Michael Harris, the second hit of the night for Paris. And Alan Billman at the plate now with 2 on and 2 out.
Well, on the plate, nobody was covering third base, and Benton couldn't get Todd Wells' attention to get him to come down. Although I think with the speed Todd had, Todd made the better decision to stay where he was.
Henry Garza has been conversing with the home plate umpire, and he conversed with him all the way back to the dugout, and now the home plate umpire is following Henry back to the dugout. And they are continuing their conversation. And Henry has been rather animated at times tonight. And now the field umpire comes to get in on the conversation. So we have a momentary break in action. I think Henry is trying to figure out what's going on. He got a satisfactory explanation. He nods his head yes. The home plate umpire dons his mask, and Alan Billman will step in from the right side. You're right, Paris doesn't have anybody who can swing from the left, do they?
Nobody. Not even in there.
This guy'd be perfect, too, because throwing a fastball, you don't get around on it. You shoot it right down the third base line. Billman squares, shows bunt, now takes the bat back, and he's first ball hitting and cues it foul outside the first base line, strike one. You are sort of related to that guy, aren't you?
Yeah, to be honest with you, of all the games we've been at, this is the first game I've get to see him bat. We got a lot of good hitters on that bench, and he's, with his catching, they give him a break on the hitting part.
The 0-1 delivery to Billman is high and inside. Allen ducks out of the way, and the count levels at 1 ball and 1 strike. If Billman keeps this inning alive, we go back to the top of the order and Joe Paul Brazil. Cats are threatening here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second, and Zachary has thrown a lot of pitches already tonight for Mount Pleasant. Billman shows bunt. Zachary checks the runner at first. The runner at second comes to the plate, and Billman swings and misses on the fastball.
Good fastball, a little bit high, but
up around the letters, and Allen just couldn't catch up with it.
Overpowering pitch there.
And Zachary said, if you're good enough to hit it, so be it.
Yeah. You'll probably see it again.
The line and the 1-2 pitch. There's that high fastball, and that one is fouled out of play, and another car roof takes a beating.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. Oh, that answers my question. It didn't get the bus. Been a tough night on pickup trucks out in the lot. Count holds at 1-2 on Alan Billman. Zachary's pitch. That one is popped foul. That one's coming back maybe, well, that missed it. Whatever it hit, it didn't hit something that requires an insurance adjuster, I don't think.
It hit Mother Earth.
It came awful close to the car from Channel 56 in Mount Pleasant. Count holds at 1-2 on Alan Billman. Channel 54?
Oh, I did too.
Well, I was close. There's a breaking pitch, drop third strike. Stuart Luck picks it up down to first base, and that ends the inning as Billman
fooled him with the curveball.
Goes down on strikes, but the putout goes from 2 to 3, and that ends the inning. A threat and nothing more for the Wildcats. After 2 were out, Todd Wells drew a walk. Michael Harris an infield single, but the Cats couldn't convert. And after 2 complete, it's now Paris 1, Mount Pleasant nothing.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
He makes me lie down in green pastures.
He leads me beside still water.
He restores my soul.
He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake.
Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death,
I will fear no evil, for you are with me.
Your rod and your staff, they comfort me.
You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies.
You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life.
And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Welcome back to Hub Hollis Field on a gorgeous spring evening here in April. The Paris Wildcats, Mount Pleasant Tigers. 4th game of the first half of District 15 4A for both teams, and for Paris, they need the win tonight to stay in the running for a playoff berth. And for Mount Pleasant, they need a win just to get something started. They came into the district season at 15-2, ranked in the top 10 in the state. They have since gone 0-3 in district and have dropped out of the top 10 in the state. And stepping in for the Tigers will be number 15, Chris Taylor, the designated hitter, batting in the 7th position, and he swings and misses on the first offering from Chuck Armstrong tonight, strike 1. Despite giving up a base hit, Armstrong has worked to the minimum number of batters tonight. There's a little pop-up on the infield. Stevens, the first baseman, calls for it in foul territory and makes the catch 1 out.
It's only had a couple balls hit to the outfield. Most of them been kind of little bloopers or pop-ups like that.
Left fielder Adrian Walton steps in from the right side. I'm looking right now in the first inning, a couple of little liners to the third baseman. There's a fastball in the dirt, ball 1. In the second inning, he had a shot to center field, so only 1 ball hit out of the infield tonight. And the best hit ball was the single that Parker stopped in the infield after it got by the third baseman. There's a breaking pitch that doesn't catch. Ooh. Two and 0 the count to Adrian Walton. There's a little chopper in front of the plate, and that one is going to roll. Well, they say it was not a foul ball. The batter didn't leave the box.
I think the umpire called it foul.
And first base coach Randy Ballard wants to know what's going on. Is he out, or was it a foul ball? He's out. Okay. He's retired from Billman to Stevens. No, check that. Armstrong to Stevens. 1-3.
I think they were going to let it roll foul until they saw he wasn't running. And then just picked it up.
They picked it up and tossed it out. That'll bring up Keith McNeil, the number 9 batter in the order, and he shoots one foul, and that one caught something, I think, out in the parking lot. Listen to the crowd behind us. If it thumps real well, you hear this groan. 0-1 the count to Keith McNeil. Well, that was a strange play for the second out of the inning. There's a breaking pitch that stays inside, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. I guess I'm like you. I guess maybe they figured it wasn't going foul. They saw him step out of the box and not head for first base. There's a fastball. Swung on and missed, and the count goes to 1-2. So they figured, well, if he's not going to run, we'll pick it up and throw him out. And Armstrong did. And they had a conference, the two umpires did, the base umpire and the plate umpire. They confirmed the call. You're out and 2 away, and now the count goes to 2-2 on Keith McNeil. Top of the third. Nobody on, 2 out for Mount Pleasant. Tigers trail in this one 1-0. Armstrong trying to retire this one. There's a breaking pitch that Billman gets in front of as it squirts outside, and the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes on Keith McNeil.
Number 9 batter.
You don't want to do this with your number 9 batter. Generally, it's not the guy that's going to hurt you, and you want to get him out of there in a hurry. Armstrong, 3-2 pitch, fastball swung on and missed, and the inning is over. Second strikeout of the night for Chuck Armstrong. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. After 2.5, our score, Paris 1, Mount Pleasant 0. Bottom of the third inning, we're back to the top of the order for the Paris Wildcats. Joe Paul Brazil, 1 for 1 tonight with a base hit. And the first pitch by Zachary, a breaking ball, strike at the knees on the inside corner, and the count is 0-1. Brazil got that line single to right field. Advanced to third on a pair of wild pitches, came home on Kevin Parker's sacrifice fly. Count level at 1 ball and 1 strike as that pitch stays high. So Parker with the only RBI tonight, as Paris leads this one 1-0. There's a breaking pitch. Stays inside, and the count goes to 2 balls and a strike. On deck, Kurt Lowry. And as they say, Kevin Parker in the hole. 2-1 pitch to Brazil. Fastball. That's fouled back. Heads up. It got something very hard that time. I'll tell you what, this is not the night that you want to be parked behind the first base line. Just about everything sent foul is gone in that general direction. In fact, somebody might have gotten his second dent of the night out there. That was a pretty solid thump. 2-2 the count. That one is low, and the count is full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Joe Paul Brazil.
People in the parking lot may want some Patriot missiles up here pretty soon. Shoot these balls down.
I don't know. These balls are a lot more accurate than Scuds. There's a shot into center field. That will be a base hit. And Joe Paul Brazil is 2 for 2. Big turn at first base, and then he heads back as Chris Woodson brings it in. I'll tell you what, Brazil has stung it twice tonight.
That's right.
Once to right, and this one to center. And he is 2 for 2, and that brings Kurt Lowry to the plate, who coaxed a walk out of Chet Zachary, his first time up. And for the Wildcats, their third base hit of the night.
He has trouble with speedy runners on base. We'll see if that affects his pitching again. Tested him right off the bat.
Leadoff man is on here in the bottom of the third for Paris. And Lowry squares to bunt and squirts it foul off the first base line. We thought he might have done that the first time he was up. They saved it for the second time around.
We had heard that he's got a green light to bunt anytime he wants to. Unless it's called off, I guess. But since he's not leading off, it may be a different strategy.
Now, who do you watch if you're the batter? Benton Rainey in the box or the photographer in the box?
That's right. Benton better not be very mobile. He run over somebody over there.
Kurt Lowry at the plate. Down in the count, 0-1. And now timeout call. As Zachary takes a little too long on the mound. And Zachary backs out, and Lowry backs out. Pitch out. Brazil is going. Throw is down, and he is out of there. Nice throw by Stuart Luck. Down to shortstop Trip McKay, and Joe Paul Brazil is caught stealing.
They were ready for that one.
Bad pitch to try and steal on as they had the pitch out called, and Zachary fired a fastball. Luck got it, had it in plenty of time, took his time, made a strong throw down to Trip McKay, and Brazil was out by a step.
That'd give the catcher a little confidence there too.
He's had a tough
night with that first inning.
That erases the base runner and the count to 1 ball and 1 strike on Kurt Lowry. And it's now to 1-2. Zachary not wasting any time now that that base runner is gone, and here's the 1-2 pitch, high in the eyes, and that one is going to go back and miss something.
I think he hit the driveway that time.
It's amazing. That must be the student section. It went over that way, and then half the stands behind us bailed out to see if it was their car that was in danger of being hit, or their folks' car.
Yeah, Dad's car come on with a cracked windshield.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Lowry. The line and the delivery swung on and missed, and Lowry is out of there. The 3rd strikeout victim of the night for Zachary. 2 down, and Kevin Parker at the plate. Parker with a sacrifice fly. No official time at bat, but does have the RBI tonight.
We got that big gap in left center field again. I figure they're not going to pull this pitcher.
Was that a strike? I thought he whistled. I thought he waved his hand, but no. Outside is what he was saying. Ball 1. 1-0 the count to Kevin Parker. Jason Stevens on deck. Big breaking pitch stays inside. The count out to 2 balls and no strikes. Well, I'm not real sure once you get ahead of him in a count like this that I wouldn't just make him pitch to you now, because he seems to have trouble when he falls behind the batter. There's a high fly ball in the gap, going back. The center fielder near the fence makes the catch. Parker hit it well, but it's just a long out as Chris Woodson got over in time to flag it down. So the Cats are gone in order here in the bottom of the 3rd. No runs, no hit, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base as Joe Paul Brazil's leadoff single goes for naught. He's caught stealing on a Stuart Luck to Trip McKay throw, and Wildcats once again had a base runner, couldn't do much with him. Our score after 3 complete: Paris 1, Mount Pleasant nothing.
My son has been drinking, and I think he's using drugs.
I just feel so ugly. I don't want anybody to see me.
I'm so sad all the time. I can barely get out of bed.
I just needed to talk to someone because I miss him so much.
Stand strong. No matter what you're going through, there is hope at the end of the line.
Focus on the family. How can we help?
Top of the 4th, you're watching the Northeast Texas Game of the Week on the Axe Channel. Channel 27 on TCA Cable. Tom Allen along with Ron Billman as we open the 1991 season coverage on Axe with this District 15 4A game between Mount Pleasant and Paris. The Wildcats lead the Tigers 1-0. And we're back to the top of the Mount Pleasant order here in the top of the 4th. Chris Woodson at the plate, robbed of a base hit as his humpbacked liner was speared by Brian Rainey at 3rd base. Just about the time it looked like it would fall right between Rainey and Kevin Parker. So Woodson 0 for 1 tonight, and the first pitch from Armstrong on the way. There's a shot right by Chuck Armstrong, who waved at it as it went by. And the center fielder gets it all the way back into Armstrong, who chases Woodson back to first base, but that was a shot.
He got every bit of that ball.
Woodson, first ball hitting, pounds it right at Kurt Lowry, and it's just the second base hit of the night for Mount Pleasant. And that will bring Kevin McDaniel to the plate. McDaniel had an infield single in the first inning, so he is 1 for 1 tonight. Armstrong, a check of the runner at first. McDaniel bunts it to the third base side. Armstrong picks it up, goes to Stevens in time at first, and then Stevens chases the runner back at second base. So the sacrifice by McDaniel is good, as he is retired 1-3 for the first out of the inning. But on the play, Woodson goes down to second base. That will bring Trip McKay to the plate. McKay also a little soft liner to third base in the first inning. 0 for 1 tonight. A tying run at second base as Chuck Armstrong checks the runner there and comes to the plate. Oh, right back to Armstrong up the middle. Lowry will pick it up in center field. Here comes the throw to the plate, and he threw it way over the head of the catcher, Alan Billman. And on the play, the batter, Trip McKay, goes into second base. Boy, Kurt Lowry almost threw that one over the screen.
We might could have caught that one without a bounce.
Not a good throw by Lowry as McKay, a sharp single up the middle that Armstrong couldn't get a glove on. And then Lowry, the throwing error to allow the run to score.
And the runner to advance to second.
And the runner to advance to second. We're tied at 1, and this inning is not over yet with 1 out. There's a breaking pitch at the knees, strike 1 to Sean Moulton, the Mount Pleasant second baseman. So a couple of base hits, and then Kurt Lowry almost threw it out of Lamar County. Oh, hits the runner in the helmet, and let's see if he's okay.
I'm not sure it was the helmet or the arm.
I think it
looked like it hit him on the right arm, left arm.
The umpire's going to check him, and now the third base coach is in. And the trainer, it hit him in the shoulder. That's what he's pointing at right now. Good shot from the first baseline camera. So hit him on the upper shoulder and popped right to the second baseman, Joe Paul Brazil. So the runner, even if he had wanted to, couldn't have moved up. And I think you're right now, he's going to be nursing a bruise on that shoulder because Armstrong fired a fastball to second.
It sure did.
And hit the runner. Wildcats in a bit of a jam right now with the tying run in and the lead run at second base with 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Cats cannot afford a loss here in the first half of district, having already dropped 1 game to Texas High. If Paris would lose tonight, their best bet would be that they beat North Lamar on Tuesday and then hope that Texas High beats Liberty Ilo, and that would still leave them in a tie for second place in the first half of district play. But you sure don't like to go with the what-ifs here. Some more of our folks along that right field line. See themselves on camera here on the X channel. Sean Moulton down on the count, no balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the 4th. A run already in for Mount Pleasant. And the pitch to Moulton is tapped on the ground. That is to the first baseman, unassisted, and that gets the runner over to third base. Nice play by Jason Stevens on a ball hit right down the line. Moulton is retired 3 unassisted for the second out, and on the play, Trip McKay goes to third base. And that will leave it up to Chet Zachary, the pitcher, to try and bring him in. Zachary, a fly ball to center field, his only time up. 0 for 1 tonight. Armstrong winds, delivers, and Zachary takes a curveball strike. Looked like it froze him right there at the plate.
Wasn't expecting that pitch.
Nasty looking breaking pitch. There's a fly ball sent to left field, way back, and he makes the running catch. He almost lost it. Jason Clark was trying to track it down, finally made a backhanded stab around his knees and came up with it. That'll end the inning, but the Mount Pleasant Tigers have scored the equalizer here on a couple of base hits and a throwing error by the center fielder Kurt Lowry. After 3.5, our score, Mount Pleasant 1, the Paris Wildcats 1. bottom of the fourth inning in this District 15 4A encounter between Paris and Mount Pleasant, and we are all tied up as the Tigers get one back in the top of the inning. Paris scored in the bottom of the first. Cats have had some people on base, but haven't been able to do much with them. A couple of double plays have erased 2 base runners, and they left the pair stranded in the second inning. Jason Stevens, the Wildcat first baseman, will lead off here in the bottom of the fourth. Stevens grounded out, pitcher to first, back in the first inning. 0 for 1 tonight.
Well, they're playing Stevens straight away in the outfield. First time.
And the pitch is shot down to the third baseman and by him. Base hit, dropped and booted by the left fielder, but Stevens will hold at first base as Adrian Walton did the smart thing. Even though he booted it, he kept it in front of him.
They kept it coming towards the infield. So,
well, that one hopped by the third baseman, so Stevens has a base hit, and the Wildcats have their leadoff runner on for the third inning out of 4 tonight. Chuck Armstrong at the plate. Hit the ball well, but right at second baseman Sean Moulton, his only time up tonight. Zachary checks Stevens back at first base. And the Cats, Stevens first ball hitting that time. I don't think they're going to rest and let Zachary get that first pitch anymore. They want to
they're going after him.
Go after him right away. Armstrong, nice bunt, right back to the pitcher who looks at second, goes to first in time. Stevens is caught off the bag and he is safe. Just missing the tag was Trip McKay as Stevens gets back. Jason had overrun the bag badly, and had Trip McKay been a little bit closer to second base, that would have been a double play. Armstrong with the sacrifice. He is out 1-3. First out of the inning, and Brian Rainey, a strikeout victim, back in the second, will try to get the Cats the lead here.
Brian makes good contact.
Nervous time down at second base, huh?
Yeah,
Jason.
Base runner's been a little reckless this evening.
There's a curveball shot to the shortstop. Over his head. Into the gap. Stevens will go to third. Here's the throw coming in, and down to second is Rainey. So scored a base hit for Brian Rainey. I guess you'd call it a bad hop single. The shortstop was there and it bounced right over his head. And then Rainey goes to second on the throw as Stevens is all the way around to third. And Jason had to wait to see if the shortstop was going to make the play on that baseball. Otherwise, he might have scored.
Yeah, if he'd have known he was going to miss it, I think he could have scored.
Runners at second and third with 1 out, and Todd Wells at the plate.
Well, Todd can get an RBI here if he just get a piece of it.
Wells drew a walk his last time up. No official time at bat for Todd Wells. Student section behind us getting rather vocal. And Chet Zachary working in some trouble right now. Infield playing at their normal depth. And the pitch to Wells is outside, ball 1.
They're playing Todd a little different in the outfield this time than last time.
Zachary's been the victim of a bit of bad luck here. Both singles have had the opportunity to have been fielded, at least to some extent. There's a breaking pitch, and that is a little high, and the count goes to 2-0. Well, now Todd ought to start looking for his pitch.
It seemed like they went 2-0 on him last time.
Oh, he went 2-1. Or pardon me, 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah, they didn't give him anything to hit. Mount Pleasant tied the game up in the top of this inning. Paris is trying to break that tie here in the bottom half, and Wells watches that fastball cross at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike. Johnny Holloman giving traffic signals down at first base, and Benton Rainey telling Todd Wells what he'd like to do, which is put the ball somewhere. Wells showing bunt. Now pulls it back. Tried to slap it, fouled it away, and the count goes to 2-2. Now, that's not a bad strategy to use, but I don't think in this situation.
No, that's right.
I think you're taking the bat out of Todd Wells' hands when you're forcing him to try to slap hit something somewhere.
Now he's going to see that breaking ball. With
But that's the nice thing about baseball. You get the second guess everything.
That's right. That Tom makes good contact, though. It was
2-2 the count on Wells. 1 out. Runners at second and third for Paris. Biggest threat of the night for the Wildcats. And Wells goes down swinging. 4 strikeout tonight, and you wonder now why he took that slash hit.
Yeah.
Because that took a strike away from Wells. 2 down, and that'll leave it up to Michael Harris. Harris had the infield single his last time at bat.
Get it to the left side of the infield again and make a decision for the infielder.
Third strikeout tonight for Zachary. Or check that, 4th strikeout for Zachary. And now Harris has it squarely on his shoulders. First pitch is a fastball low and almost by the catcher, Stuart Luck. Ball 1. Oh, you hate to see the Wildcats squander this opportunity because you don't know how many more they're going to have before the night's over with.
Yeah, with 1 out, runners in second and third. We got to score one of them.
There's a curveball inside, and Harris just got out of the way of that one. 2-0. Well, let's see. Benton showed him something. Let's see if he goes up and shows Benton, tries to slash.
He's probably got him taken. Like
Slash it somewhere.
After 2 balls, he does have a little control problem.
2-0 pitch to Michael Harris on the way. Nope. Swung on and missed. A breaking pitch that Harris couldn't find up around the letters. It's 2-1.
Go, Fetto! Say Fetto! Go, Fetto!
Comes that slash stance. Yeah.
He's going to square to bunt. Pulls it back. Chops at it. High fly to center field. Fairly deep, but getting back there is a center fielder for the final out. And the Wildcats waste a great opportunity here in the bottom of the 4th. They strand 2. So no runs on a couple of base hits. No errors, 2 left. And our score at the end of 4 complete. Mount Pleasant 1, Paris 1.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at casaforchildren.org.
Top of the 5th inning coming up from Hub Hollis Field. Mount Pleasant and Paris tied at 1. Wildcats squander a big opportunity in the bottom of the 4th. Had two men on with just 1 out. Runners at second and third, Ron, and couldn't bring them home.
Yeah, you don't get those many opportunities in this close ball game. Let's hope for another inning like that.
For us.
Yeah, for us, of course.
For us. Stuart Luck, the catcher at the plate, lined out to the second baseman his first time up, 0 for 1 tonight. Armstrong lines, delivers, and there's a fly ball sent to left field. Jason Clark didn't have to move much to pick that one off.
Having played pretty correctly.
1 pitch, 1 out. As Stuart Luck flies out to the left fielder. Jason Clark, who made that one look a little bit more routine than the last opportunity he had, which was...
you get a little action out there now. I don't know if we're getting not quite a fastball or...
Chris Taylor, the designated hitter, didn't like what he saw because it was a called strike. Down on the count, 0-1.
Chuck's throwing more curveballs down, seems like.
There's the fastball, swung on and missed by Taylor, 0-2. The designated hitter for the Tigers. There's an off-speed pitch in the dirt, picked up by Alan Billman, down to first in time for the out. So credit Armstrong with the strikeout. And then the putout goes from 2 to 3 for the second out of the inning. And that will bring up left fielder Adrian Walton. Armstrong moving fairly well through this portion of the order after some problems back in the fourth. Gotta hope the Wildcat bats come alive.
That's been the problem most of the games I've got to see is we can get men on, we can't knock them in.
First pitch by Armstrong out of the strike zone. Counted 1 ball and no strikes on Adrian Walton. If Walton keeps this inning alive, Keith McNeil on deck for the Tigers, and now time called at the plate. Umpire looks toward the outfield. I don't know if we had a car pull in or something had him concerned for just a moment. 1-0 pitch, fastball, shot down to the second baseman, picked up, almost thrown away. Stevens turns around and makes the tag. Joe Paul Brazil made that a little bit more exciting than it needed to be. 4-3 unassisted. 4-3 rather, and Stevens with the put out as Brazil had a little bit of trouble handling the ground ball. Nevertheless, up and down in order is Mount Pleasant here in the top of the fifth. No runs, no hits, no errors. We're tied at 1 after 4.5. Bottom of the fifth inning. Tied at 1, Paris and Mount Pleasant, and despite the Tigers' troubles, you had it in the back of your mind this is probably the way the game would have gone tonight, and it has gone that way tonight. You don't go 15-2 in pre-district and not be a pretty good baseball team. They've had their problems since district began. We'd like them to have some more problems at least until Tuesday night. They can win Tuesday. They've got to lose tonight, though. Leading off for Paris, Alan Billman. Shows bunt, pulls back, inside, ball 1. Joe Paul Brazil on deck. A wind, the pitch high and tight, ball 2. And that one had a little bit of smoke on it. Tell you what, Zachary hadn't slowed down a whole lot.
He's still powerful. They're getting higher though, I don't know if you noticed, now he's missing high, so I don't know if that's a trend.
2-0 pitch, swung on and chopped foul over our heads and out of play, 2-1. And according to our director, no damage done in the parking lot on that foul ball. Two-1 delivery, and that one is cued foul up in the lights and out of play. Count levels at 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Paris catcher, Alan Billman, 9th man in the order. Billman, a strikeout victim back in the second, 0 for 1 tonight. There's a shot down to the shortstop. Picks it up, long throw in time, and Billman is retired 6-3. Trip McKay to Trey Womack. 1 down, and that will bring Joe Paul Brazil to the plate. Brazil, the only run scored of the night on Kevin Parker's sacrifice fly, has 2 base hits, was caught stealing back in the 3rd. And that got Zachary out of what appeared to be a major jam with Brazil at first and Lowry at the plate.
Yeah, that's base running's been our biggest enemy this season.
In fact, Stevens was almost picked off on a sacrifice last inning as he overran second. There's a pitch, and Brazil was determined to hit the first pitch no matter where it was, and that one was down in the dirt.
I think the pitchers picked up on that first ball swinging too.
0-1 to Joe Paul Brazil. Of course, Brazil has worked him full twice before he's gotten his base hit. There's a foul ball coming back our way, and that will be a souvenir for somebody right behind the visiting stands on the first base side. Count out to 0-2, and I believe for the first time tonight, Brazil is down in the count. Steve Coker, one of the Paris assistants, brings some new baseballs out.
So a lot of balls flying over that
I'll
fence
tell you
tonight.
what, been lots of souvenirs. You know, when we were kids, you used to be able to bring them back for like a nickel's worth at the concession stand. You'd have broken the concession stand tonight if you could have gathered all the foul balls that have been hit so far.
I like
See
this.
hot dog, nachos,
Yeah.
Coke, maybe a candy bar to top things off.
Good baseball food.
0-2 and drop third strike. Luck will throw down to first and almost threw it away,
Sure
but
did.
going down low is Trey Womack to pick it up. And Brazil becomes the 5th strikeout victim of the night for Chet Zachary, second out of the inning, and that will leave it up to Kurt Lowry to keep it alive. And Lowry 0 for 1 tonight, walked in the first, struck out in the third. Wildcats have had opportunities tonight. 2 men on after 2 were out in the second, couldn't bring them in. 2 on with 1 out in the fourth and couldn't scratch. That pitch is inside and high to Kurt Lowry, 1-0 the count. Boy, you'd hate to see this be like Texas High, where he had opportunity after opportunity and couldn't convert. The wind, the pitch inside, 2-0. Well, this is where you need to make him pitch to you now. When he gets down 2-0, he generally has all sorts of problems. At least he has had tonight.
A bunt down the first base line right now might get him on.
That pitch outside, ball 3. And Zachary in danger of walking Kurt Lowry. 3-0 pitch to the Wildcat center fielder, and that is obviously low, and that is a walk. I believe, if I'm unofficially, his 3rd one of the night. Walked Lowry in the first. Walked Todd Wells in the second. And has now walked Lowry again here in the 5th. So his 3rd walk against 5 strikeouts now for Chet Zachary, and that will bring Kevin Parker to the plate. Parker has hit the ball in the air twice to the outfield. He'd like to get it down a little bit. Kevin 0 for 2 tonight with a run batted in. Sacrifice fly in the first.
He'd probably do if we could get Kurt to second.
The pitch to Parker outside, the throw down to first by the catcher, Stuart Luck, not in time as he tried to throw behind the runner. And the count on Parker is 1 ball and no strikes. Zachary, the Mount Pleasant right-hander, works from the stretch. Lowry with a good lead, but nothing exceptional. He's off and running. There's the pitch out to Luck, down to second. Threw it into center field, and Lowry on his way to third. Here's the throw. It is not in time, and Lowry is in. Just ahead of the throw. Tell you what, Woodson had a great throw from center field. Almost caught him, and Lowry didn't slide.
I think that's what Rainey was trying to get him to do, is to get out.
Stolen base, and then a throwing error on the catcher. Maybe a fielding error on the second baseman. The catcher got it to him in time.
Should have caught the ball.
So Lowry in scoring position. And the count now is 2 balls and no strikes on Kevin Parker. Zachary checks the runner. 3-0 on Parker. Kevin doesn't need to get a hit if Zachary will just throw one by the catcher.
Yeah.
Cats with another opportunity. This time with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. And Zachary wants to know how many outs, wants to know the count. Should be 3-0.
Yeah, just 2 on the scoreboard.
And there's a shot up the middle. Run will score, Wildcats lead. Kevin Parker with a clutch single right back up the middle. And Parker has has both runs batted in tonight. Two to one, Paris. Parker at first and Jason Stevens the batter. Stevens went all the way to third in the fourth inning after leading off with a single and never got the last 90 feet.
There you go, Tom, go!
And Stevens calls timeout.
I don't think he's quite ready yet.
Yeah. Kevin Parker with a clutch base hit.
Good clean hit right up the ball.
Nothing cheap about that one.
Good looking sophomore. A couple more years to watch him play.
And the pitch by Stevens. Parker zips down to second base. There's a wild pitch. Third of the night for Zachary. And the count to Stevens, 1 ball, no strikes. And now Kevin Parker in scoring position if Jason can get a single.
They just put him on.
And they've intentionally walked Jason Stevens, and that is his 4th walk of the night, given up by Chet Zachary. Runners at first and second. Chuck Armstrong at the plate. Armstrong has a sacrifice bunt tonight, and the other one, a pretty well hit liner that was right at the second baseman, Sean Moulton. So Chuck can hit the ball. If he puts it in the right place, Paris can score another run. There's a breaking pitch outside, and Zachary right now having some problems. They weren't going to give Stevens a chance with a runner in scoring position to get his bat on the baseball. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. Paris with a run in. And we'll tell you how they did it here at the end of the inning. Armstrong fouls that one away, and the count levels at 1 ball and 1 strike. Home crowd looking for at least 1 more run out of this inning for the Cats. If Chuck Armstrong can get the bat on the ball. That one is outside. Ball 2. Throw behind the runner at second. Not in time as Parker gets back in underneath the sweep tag by Trip McCabe.
They keep forcing throws like that, so Mike can get something out of it. That was a good throw by the catcher.
For everything we've heard about Stuart Luck, he's proven to be pretty good behind the plate if you give him a chance. But when you're throwing it in the dirt, he doesn't really have much of an opportunity to help you out. There's a pitch lined into the gap.
To the fence.
Chuck Armstrong will plate 1 run as Parker comes in. Armstrong goes for 2. He's in safely. It's a double for Chuck Armstrong. Kevin Parker is around to score. It's 3-1 Paris. Stevens all the way to third. Armstrong in with a double.
Got courtesy runner now for pitcher.
And a courtesy runner for the pitcher, and that is Tyrell Hill. So now some speed down there at second base. And Brian Rainey at the plate. Rainey is 1 for 2 tonight. A single in the 4th. A strikeout in the 2nd. And the Cats doing their damage in this inning after 2 were out. And they have now walked Brian Rainey. They'll face Todd Wells with the bases loaded.
Well, Todd gets a chance now.
Bases loaded, 2 out, 2 runs are in. And Todd Wells, a designated hitter at the plate, and I'll bet you dimes to donuts Benton Rainey doesn't have it slashing at this one.
That's what I thought. How many takes 3 healthy cuts if he doesn't hit it on the first one? I'd like to see that left fielder start moving right now.
Actually, it'd be nice if he just stopped and looked.
Yeah, that's right. He turned around and pull one down the line.
Zachary from the full windup. Ooh. There was some heat, folks.
That's a good pitch.
Just inside, 1-0 the count on Wells. Well, Johnny Holloman's had lots of traffic down at first base this inning. one is low.
He's been 2-0 before. We'll see what happens here.
Don't square to bunt here, Todd, please.
He still shifted him over to the right in the center field, too.
I'll tell you what, if he hits one in the gap, he might get an inside the park home run if he can run.
Yeah. He'll be puffing if he doesn't. Oh,
high, ball 3.
Whoa.
Chet Zachary is having a tough inning right now. Looked like it was going to be easy with 2 outs, and all of a sudden the hinges have come off. Wells was taken all the way as that one crossed the heart of the plate, 3-1. Now this is his pitch right here.
Yeah,
time to be a hitter.
That's right. He's got to come in now.
Stevens at third.
Don't help.
Armstrong, check that, Tyrell Hill at second. Brian Rainey at first. Swung on and chopped foul. The count goes full, and that was ball 4.
That was ball 4.
That's what Benton's saying. Watch him close, Todd. Make him throw it to you. Henry Garza saying, do another one like that. Maybe you won't catch it this time.
Well, he's probably warning him to watch for that breaky curve stuff outside and low. I don't think you'll see a fastball.
Well, this is a real big pitch for Chet Zachary. 3-2, bases loaded. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Runners are going. There's a pitch. Line is in. Right fielder. Wells is on his way to second. 1 run, 2 runs. 3 runs are in. Wells is going to third. 6-1 Paris.
That ball was just a dying ball out there, and the player just couldn't get to it.
A sinking line drive by Todd Wells that skipped past the right fielder, Keith McNeil, all the way to the fence. McNeil never touched it to give him a triple. And the Wildcats have blown this one open 6-1. 5 runs here in the bottom of the 5th. McNeil tried to come in and make the diving attempt at the catch. Went to an E, the ball hit in front of him and then skipped over his glove and went all the way to the fence. Todd Wells, and he's not a speed demon by any means, chugged into third base and took 3 in ahead of him. 3 RBIs for Todd Wells, and that pitch away from the catcher Stuart Luck, and Wells will score on the wild pitch. Six runs are scored this inning. It is now 7-1 Paris, and the bases are clear for Michael Harris, who is down in the count, up in the count rather. 1 ball and no strikes.
The intentional walks and just didn't pay off that inning.
Kevin Parker with a run batted in. There's a swing and a foul ball shot back over our heads. The count goes to 1-1. Todd Wells with 3 RBIs. Chuck Armstrong with an RBI in the inning. So on the night, Kevin Parker has 2 runs batted in. Armstrong has a run batted in, and Todd Wells has 3 runs batted in. The 7th run scoring on the wild pitch. A long inning for Mount Pleasant. Harris turns, looks, almost swung, and Luck corrals the pitch that's outside and low, and the count goes to 2-1. And what was that?
The appeal to first base, and it was a call, said he swung.
He swung?
He swung. Swinging strikeout.
A swinging strikeout, huh? Okay.
First baseman called it. First base umpire.
We'll call it a strikeout, which is Zachary's 6th of the night, but it comes too late as the Wildcats strike for 6 here in the bottom of the 5th. Our score after 5 complete, Paris 7, Mount Pleasant 1.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
He makes me lie down in green pastures.
He leads me beside still water.
He restores my soul.
He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake.
Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death,
I will fear no evil, for you are with me.
Your rod and your staff, they comfort me.
You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies.
You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life,
and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Well, if that's a Wildcat fan, she is very happy right now. If it's a Mount Pleasant fan, she doesn't care. 7-1 Paris. A big inning for the Cats in the bottom of the 5th as they score 6 times. I have to feel sorry for Henry Garza, the coach at Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
Go into the district at 15-2, and they walked the tightrope tonight. We're playing real well and come back to tie it up at 1 apiece. And all of a sudden, the roof fell in the 5th inning, and we'll try to go back and recap the Wildcat 5th for you very quickly as we play here in the top of the 6th. And for Mount Pleasant, Keith McNeil will lead things off, the right fielder. McNeil, a strikeout victim back in the 3rd, 0 for 1 tonight. Armstrong's breaking pitch, a called strike.
Armstrong better have a little bit of confidence now.
The inning started off rather innocently. Alan Billman grounded out short to first. There's a called strike. The fastball 0-2 now on McNeil. Then Joe Paul Brazil struck out. Kurt Lowry drew a walk on 4 straight pitches. 0-2 pitch on the way to McNeil, a breaking pitch high, ball 1. Then stole second base. The ball was thrown into center field, and Lowry went to 3rd. Swinging strike 3, and McNeil is down for the first out of the inning. Kevin Parker came up on a 3-0 pitch. Brought Lowry in with a single to center. Jason Stevens then was intentionally walked. That put runners at 1st and 2nd. Brian Rainey came up. Or pardon me, Chuck Armstrong came up. He doubled to right center field. That brought Parker in, made it 3-1. First pitch to Chris Woodson now at the plate, and that is a called strike. Armstrong's on his game now. He's just going after him with a 7-1 lead.
He's relaxed, just throwing his game.
Woodson 1 for 2 tonight, had a base hit in the 4th. There's a pitch chopped foul out of play, 0-2. With Armstrong at 2nd and Stevens at 3rd, they intentionally walked Brian Rainey. Todd Wells on a 3-2 pitch shot what should have been just a single to right field, but the right fielder tried to make a diving catch. Ball skipped over his glove, rolled all the way to the fence. That cleared the bases. Wells went all the way to 3rd on the triple, and then came home on a wild pitch to finish the scoring in the inning. There's a ground ball to short. Parker picks it up. Throw over to Stevens in time, and Woodson is out of there 6-3. Kevin had a little trouble finding the handle on that ball, but you have to be a lot faster than Chris Woodson was to beat him out.
Ball come up about chest high and kind of handcuffed him. Good throw, though.
Woodson going back to the dugout. You saw that on your camera. And Kevin McDaniel now will come to the plate. 2 down here in the top of the 6th, nobody on. And Mount Pleasant down in the count now, 7-1.
Low for a ball.
1-0 the count on Kevin McDaniel. I started moving things into the wrong column again, and I would have ended up totally confused. And they're going to appeal down to first base. No swing, 2 balls, no strikes. Think we can sit back and relax?
I don't know. This is a good team.
There's a pitch that crossed just about the eyes, and it goes to 3-0 on McDaniel. Armstrong, let's hope he doesn't have the same trouble Zachary had. Zachary had 2 quick outs in the bottom of the 5th and then watched things come apart. Armstrong has had 2 quick outs here in the top of the 6th, and all of a sudden he's gone 3-0 on Kevin McDaniel. There's the overhand delivery, and that's a cross for a strike, 3-1. Well, credit the Cats. They blew some opportunities early, but they converted in the 5th inning. There's a pitch swung on and cued out of play. The count goes full at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I hope all these balls are coming back. Paris will have a big ball budget tonight.
I was going to say, Ben Rainey may have just blown his athletic budget, his baseball budget on baseballs tonight. There's a pitch in the dirt, ball 4. Alan Billman keeps it out in front of him. And Chuck Armstrong gives up the walk to McDaniel. So with 2 outs, Mount Pleasant has a runner at first. Trip McKay the batter, and McKay 1 for 2 tonight. Lined out to third in the first. Had a single in the 4th inning that helped score a run. The throwing error from Lowry really allowing that run to score. Armstrong checks the runner, and there's a pitch tapped down the first base side, and Armstrong picks it up. The runner goes out of the baseline, but Armstrong makes the tag. Trip McKay is out, 1 unassisted for the 3rd out of the inning. So 1 pitch, and Armstrong gets the 3rd out. Our score after 5.5 innings of play: Paris 7, Mount Pleasant 1. Now the lights over Hub Hollis Field as we play in the bottom of the 6th tonight. Wildcats have broken this one open. On their way to 3-1 in district, and at least staying in the hunt for first place, and at least tied for 2nd place by the time all the action in 15-4A is over this evening. Now we start where we started last inning. Alan Billman to lead off things here in the bottom of the 6th. Billman is 0 for 2 tonight. A strikeout in the 2nd. He grounded out short to first in the 5th. And hits a high pop fly on the, well, just off the infield, on the outfield grass. The second baseman, Sean Moulton, going back to pick that one off. And first ball hitting, Alan Billman is out for the first of the inning. Well, even with the big inning, we're moving right along. This game started at 7:30, and it's just now a little after 9 o'clock. So a fast-moving game despite a big inning by Paris. First pitch to Joe Paul Brazil is right in there for a called strike, and Brazil, of all things, was squaring to bunt.
He's going to bunt his way on. He got the speed.
0-1 pitch, and Brazil a full swing at that one, missed it. And the count goes to 0-2.
Both pitchers are working fast.
Kurt Lowry on deck. Well, I'll tell you what, Chet Zachary, despite the tough inning, hasn't lost a whole lot of velocity off that fastball.
Right. Still looks good.
And there's a breaking pitch, a hard breaking pitch, slapped on the ground to the shortstop. Throw across in time to Trey Womack. And Joe Paul Brazil is retired. Trip McKay to Womack for the 2nd out of the inning. 2 down, and well, this is where it all started last time with 2 outs in the inning. Lowry drew the walk. And then all sorts of things started happening. None of them beneficial to Mount Pleasant. First pitch to Lowry off the outside corner, ball 1. Well, if you're going to follow the Axe baseball schedule, we will be at Poslong Field Tuesday afternoon at 4 o'clock. if the rain holds off that they predict for next week. It will be North Lamar and Paris in the first half finale. And Paris would like a win there and maybe a Liberty Ilo upset of Texas High to force a three-way tie for first place in the first half of district. 1-0 pitch. Ooh. He got the low pitch that time, didn't he?
A little longer bat to reach that one.
Might not have been a sand wedge, but I think a 9-iron might have picked that one up. 1-1 pitch. Oh, a long drive down the third base line, way back, but the left fielder is there, makes the catch.
Got under just a shade.
Kurt Lowry under it just a tad, but he drove the left fielder very nearly back to the fence. Well, 3 up, 3 down. We didn't get the big inning this time around.
Now get ready to let the pitcher win it.
We go to the top of the 7th. Wildcats 3 outs away from wrapping this one up as Paris leads 7-1.
My son has been drinking, and I think he's using drugs.
I just feel so ugly. I don't want anybody to see me.
So sad all the time. I can barely get out of bed.
I just needed to talk to someone because I miss him so much.
Stand strong. No matter what you're going through, there is hope at the end of the line.
Focus on the family. How can we help?
Back for what we feel will be the final half inning of baseball tonight as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Mount Pleasant coming to bat. Tigers trail 7-1. Chuck Armstrong trying to wrap up a complete game win tonight on the mound here in the top of the 7th. And while we have the opportunity, many thanks to our underwriters for making high school sports possible throughout the year here on Channel 27. Dave Gilbert and his crew down at Pizza Inn for supplying our pregame meals. Daryl Bowles and the crew out at McQuestion Regional Hospital who have been with us since the inception of the Northeast Texas Game of the Week. First pitch to leadoff batter Sean Moulton is a ball, 1-0 to the Tigers' second baseman. There's a breaking pitch in the dirt, ball 2 to the left-handed batting Moulton. Also like to thank Steve Elkins and the folks at Dos Hombres for their support. They have been with us for 2 years here on the Northeast Texas Game of the Week. 2-0 pitch on the way, called strike. Armstrong not wasting any time, out to 2-1 on Sean Moulton. Moulton 0 for 2 tonight. A strikeout victim in the second, retired 3 unassisted in the 4th, and that pitch misses outside, so Armstrong 3 balls and a strike on Sean Moulton, leading off from Mount Pleasant in the top of the 7th. A Wine, and the right-hander delivers. A line shot at the second baseman, dropped, picked up, and almost thrown away. Safe! As they say that Jason Stevens missed the tag. And Chuck Armstrong is asking the base umpire how he missed the tag. Well, I don't know what you call that. An error on the second baseman for the high throw. Benton Rainey coming out. Doesn't like the explanation, but the play will stand. The runner at first base, and I would guess the high throw from Joe Paul Brazil will be scored. Will score it as an error.
The ball kind of handcuffed him when it come off the dirt. Kind of rushed his throw a little.
And Stevens, according to the base umpire, missed the tag. So a runner on, and that's a pitch that gets by Alan Billman, and going down to second base on the play is Sean Moulton. I'd say our director's ready to
ready to go
hit
home.
The bricks.
Oh, let's just get that one jittery runner out of the way and settle back down here. It's going to take more than one. Get them batters.
Count out to 1 ball and no strikes on Chet Zachary as Mount Pleasant trying to rally here in the top of the 7th. Swung on and missed. A fastball up in the eyes of Zachary, and he couldn't pick it up. Have you noticed that high school kids generally like fastballs up around their eyes?
Yeah, they do. That's the high.
The Pete Incaviglia syndrome.
That's right. That's what it is. Not too healthy right now.
7-1 Paris lead, but Mount Pleasant with a runner at second. Nobody outs.
Oh,
and there's a nasty curveball that Zachary takes for strike 2. One-two pitch to Zachary as Armstrong checks Moulton at second. There's a breaking pitch, slapped back against the screen. Well, he changed speeds on him and threw the breaking pitch to him, and Zachary managed to pick it up and stay alive at 1-2. Cats with a win tonight would go to 3-1, and Mount Pleasant a surprising 0-4 in district play in the first half. There's a sidearm fastball called strike.
That was a
and correct me if I'm wrong. That's the first time he's dropped down sidearm tonight.
I thought he goofed up or something. It's a good. That'd fake you out up there.
He went sidearm for the first time tonight and throws Zachary at the plate. One down, and that will bring Stuart Luck up. Luck is 0 for 2 tonight. Lined out to Joe Paul Brazil in the second. Flied out to Jason Clark in the fourth. And there's a big breaking pitch that stays high, ball 1. Cats playing him fairly well straight away. Armstrong, a check of the runner at second. And there's a line shot right up the middle base hit.
Hold the runner to first.
Runner will be held at third, and they'll hold the runner at first. So at the corners now with 1 out. Stuart Luck gets his first base hit of the night, a solid single right up the middle. Sean Moulton at third base. Stuart Luck at first, 1 out. Chris Taylor, the designated hitter at the plate. He popped out to the first baseman in foul ground back in the third inning and struck out in the fifth. Armstrong hasn't worked too many over the minimum tonight.
He's pitched a good game.
He's worked to 3 batters over the minimum coming into the 7th inning. Had 2 over in the 4th, and then an extra batter in the 8th, or in the 6th. So he's only pitched to 3 extra batters over the minimum so far. Helms, however, he's added a couple to that total here in the 7th. First pitch swung on and missed as Chris Taylor could not find the fastball. 0-1. 7-1 Paris. Top of the 7th. Mount Pleasant with runners at the corners and 1 out. Armstrong, breaking pitch, just a little outside. Was one like that I thought he called a strike on Chet Zachary.
I heard one of the fans holler at him. So it was a strike like that a minute ago.
Armstrong, 1-1 delivery, fastball in foul ground and out of play. Nobody will get to this one.
In the trees.
That's in the pine trees outside the fence. Michael Harris gave it a good run, but fat guys like us wouldn't run after a ball like that.
I just said, get out that fence, quick.
We just yelled foul ball.
Yeah. On this stage, that probably would have scored a run. So it's better to let it go foul.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The count on the designated hitter, Chris Taylor. Adrian Walton on deck. Mount Pleasant trying to climb back in this one. They're down to their last 2 outs. Down to their last out. As Chris Taylor strikes out for the 2nd time tonight on a breaking pitch low and out of the strike zone. I am convinced that on a 1-2 or 2-2 count, if you throw low and outside some kind of breaking pitch, 9 times out of 10, they're going to swing at it.
Yeah. Well, when they see it, it looks like it's coming right at the plate, and then all of a sudden, especially tonight, his pitches are breaking away from those right-handed batters.
Mount Pleasant down to its final out. Adrian Walton in at the plate, and the first pitch, a breaking pitch at the knees on the inside corner, and Adrian Walton takes strike 1. Oh, 1 pitch. Swung on, line to right field. Michael Harris is there. Game is over. Michael Harris Paris catches the line drive off the bat of Adrian Walton on the run in right field, and the game ends. Paris wins 7-1. Big win for the Wildcats tonight, Ron, because with the win, going to 3-1, they stay in the hunt for at least a position in the playoffs in the first half of district play, and they can certainly solidify that with a win over North Lamar on Tuesday.
That's right. They're in the position they had to be after losing to Texas High.
Wildcats score first in this one with a run in the top of the first. Joe Paul Brazil scoring on Kevin Parker's sacrifice fly. Mount Pleasant came back in the fourth on a couple of base hits and a throwing error by Wildcat center fielder Kurt Lowry to even things up at 1 apiece. And then the Wildcats with 2 outs in the fifth. Kurt Lowry starts the rally off with a walk, a stolen base, and then Kevin Parker singles him home, and that opened the doors to 6 runs in the bottom of the fifth for the Wildcats. And that was all the Cats needed tonight as Henry Garza's Mount Pleasant Tigers, Ron, after going 15-2 in pre-district, have yet to find the key to winning a district ball game. They are now 0-4 in the first half of district play.
They're probably looking forward to the second half to scratch, put a little line on the scoreboard and start over.
Fresh start.
Fresh start.
Enjoyed having you with us.
Enjoyed it.
We had a great night for baseball tonight at Hub Hollis Field, and all things considered, if we could just semi-match this Tuesday afternoon out at Post Long, it ought to be a great day for baseball then. Game time 4 o'clock Tuesday. We hope to see you there, and of course we'll have the replay for you Wednesday night, Thursday afternoon, and Friday morning on that Paris North Lamar game. And of course, if you're joining us here for this Paris Wildcat win over Mount Pleasant, not only can you watch it on Saturday night, but also Sunday afternoon at 2 and Monday morning at 9 right here on Channel 27. Tom Allen for all of our Axe TV 27 volunteers and our underwriters, thanking you for joining us for this edition of the Northeast Texas Game of the Week. Our final score from Hub Hollis Field tonight, the Paris Wildcats 7, the Mount Pleasant Tigers 1.